like the lot. We're down here in Brantford, Ontario, and we're at
a private property here in Brantford that we're going to be talking about the history of the house with the owner, as well as do an investigation later today.
So let's just sit back and enjoy yourself.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good, yourself?
Good, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us.
We didn't hear anything about Wanda. Is she here yet?
Yeah, she's already inside. We've been
Awesome.
chatting. She's at the table waiting to see you guys. Come on in.
Okay, cool.
Let's go in.
So Jen, thanks for actually having us out here.
Thanks so much for coming. I'm so excited to have you guys here. It's going to be a really amazing evening. I can feel the energies already.
Yes. Okay. Now, I know that we started talking on the phone and all this and that, right? Do you know much about the history of this location by chance?
I do. So we have owned this property for about 2.5 years, and the gentleman who had the property before that we bought it from, his name was Jack White Oak Webster. He bought the property in 1938, and he built the house in 1942. And he lived there until he was 97 years old. When we bought the property from him, he was 97.
Wow.
And then he died about 18 months ago and is now scattered in the backwoods. He was cremated. While he was here, his wife actually tragically died one evening, completely unexpectedly and suddenly in the back bedroom. And that's where we feel a lot of energy and activity and that kind of thing. And Jack also had dogs, which have passed and are quite often heard walking through the house as well.
Okay. And you have a dog as well, so it's not just your dog that you're here.
I do have a dog. I have a little guy, and it's definitely a different footfall. His dogs were much bigger, so there's a lot longer footfall. My husband, who is a true skeptic, when I was away one evening, called me to say that he heard it too. He woke up and he heard dog toenails on the floor. And he woke up to see why our dog was off the bed, and the dog was snoring in bed next to him. So a number of people have heard those footfalls and seen those dogs in the house before.
Okay.
Right. Now, I know Wanda is with us, which we do say thanks, Wanda, for coming out, actually, for this wonderful day, though, that we are going to be actually experiencing here, actually, in Brantford. Now, we know that you did some meditation.
Oh, that's right. I spent an hour in meditation, and I picked up a few things ahead of time before I met you at the house here, and I wondered if you could sort of connect with me on a few of these things.
Absolutely.
I first picked up a moose.
Okay.
I don't know if any of that would ring any bells, but there was a definite picture of a moose that came through in my vision. So a female voice said, forgiveness. Okay, I'm sorry.
Jack's wife and Jack had adopted some children. They were unable to have their own children. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of struggles with Jack's wife and his son. And there was quite a large fight that happened before she died, and she didn't have a chance to settle that disagreement. And I think that's probably the forgiveness you're feeling.
Right. Okay, I saw a brown horse being ridden by someone.
Jack was a great outdoors gentleman and he used to ride all the time. And there used to be horses down the road. When Jack bought this property, it was completely farmland. He was the first house in this area. So he used to ride a horse down the road, actually down to the river. So that would be the brown horse you're picking up on.
That's pretty nice. Then I heard the name Russell back in. I thought I thought maybe back in was a name or a word.
Russell was his son. And Russell had struggled with some mental health addiction issues. And at one time, Russell actually had a trailer in the back part of the property. So it's probably Russell and back in, as in back in the property.
Awesome. There was one other name associated, Raymond. That just wouldn't leave. I just kept picking that, the name Raymond as well.
Could be a cousin, not sure. I don't know the family history really well, but I will reach out to the family and see if there's a connection there.
And a lot of critters like raccoons.
Which we did see some of today.
We have raccoons that are about 45 pounds each, yes. We have raccoons, we have skunks.
And the deer that we saw today.
That's right too. So.
And the moose you're probably picking up. Jack was an avid hunter, and we also have some exceptionally insanely large deer with a large rack of antlers that could very easily be mistaken for a moose.
The next thing is a man. He has the rifle and hunting to kill.
Jack was an avid hunter. Jack was an avid outdoorsman, though. He hunted and he ate what he hunted, which for me is completely fine. I mean, if you're going to hunt venison and you eat it, I'm so fine with that. sort of, you know, the order of nature. I'm not big on hunting for the sake of hunting, but
That's exactly what I had. He ate what he kills.
yes, yeah.
And he grew root vegetables.
He did lots of carrots and turnips and rhubarb, and when we were back in the woods, you'll probably see a lot of the stuff that he had planted that had gone wild.
Yes, I saw the man wearing Wellington boots, a pair of, you know, the high Wellington boots.
Jack was also an avid fisherman. Interestingly, Jack's ashes are split in 3 pieces. Some of the ashes are here, the rest are with his wife, and the third portion of the ashes are in the Grand River, because he was an avid fisherman and used to, there's an area called the Plains down there, which he used to fish in constantly and, you know, swim, there's a swimming hole and that kind of thing, so definitely in fishing boots.
Also explain why you wore red checkered. And he had
plaid shirt
and a vest.
Yeah.
But he kept saying sheepskin.
Yeah.
He kept saying sheepskin.
He had a sheepskin vest, and when we used to come to see the property before we moved in, he sat outside in a lawn chair in a red plaid vest with his red plaid shirt with a sheepskin vest on, so always connected to animals.
Right. He also had a hat.
Yes, he did, a really quirky hat.
It was quirky because it seemed like a garden hat, but a western hat. It was sort of a mixture.
It was
what
a
I
mix.
saw in the
Yeah.
vision. He said, I hunt for food and growing and garden root vegetables, which I just said, so it's on there. And I see vegetation sort of up to his knees. He grew up high,
There's a big raspberry, a lot of raspberry canes and berries. There's wild blackberries and raspberries, and we actually just cleared out where we have fairy circles now. Last year was all sort of tall, scrubby stuff that we completely cleared out last summer.
I asked him about drinking, and he says, I have no access to alcohol or tobacco, but if I could, I would smoke and drink.
He smoked like a chimney, yeah, but always outside. His wife never let him smoke in the house, but he smoked outside, so.
And I see one sheep walking around. It's like,
Is it a sheep or a dog? Because he had
Oh,
Afghans.
could've
He had Afghans that
sheep
looked
and
like
dogs
sheep
look
because they were Afghans are sheep herding dogs, and they have long hair and very pointy sheep-looking
yeah,
faces.
he wouldn't normally have one.
No,
He wouldn't just have one.
not one sheep, but they would have one dog. So I'm sure that's the dog that you're seeing that we hear clicking around on the floor. The Afghan looks like a sheep, like a shaggy Afghan looks like a sheep.
I feel like he's part native. His skin was tan and smiled. He showed me there. He was about 64ish. He liked that age because about being 64. He seemed to like that age.
He got to retire a year early from the government, so he gave them an early retirement at 64. And Jack's name was actually Jack White Oak Webster, so Jack actually did have a lot of First Nations in him. Very blue eyes, but very dark skin.
He smiled, and I saw his teeth were very good for his age.
They were. He had a full set of teeth even when he died.
I asked, why is he here? He said, I want people to know I took good care, and not just of the land. I don't walk away.
No.
And so, despite maybe what people are thinking, he did take good care.
He took amazing care. I think it sort of brings tears to my eyes because when his wife died, he ran into some financial challenges, and the house fell into disrepair. And a lot of people on the street were very upset and angry with him that he didn't keep the house up, but they didn't understand that they didn't have the financial resources when his wife died. So the house got very, very... It fell into a huge amount of disrepair, and he did care. He loved this house. I'll never forget, my husband and I were here one night before we bought the house, and Jack started crying because he said that, no matter if they put him in Buckingham Palace or into a castle, it still wasn't going to be the same as his house. But he was really happy to leave because he knew we were going to look after him. So that was our promise we made to him the last time we saw him, was we would look after the house and the property. And when his kids came back to scatter his ashes, they said to us that they were so proud because this is what Jack would have wanted to see.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
I noticed he had good English, but when I was speaking to him in the vision, I said to him, "Oh, you have a little hillbilly slang," and I said, then he goes, "No," he said, "It's country."
Yeah, that would be Jack. That would be Jack. It was a bit of a country slang, and there was some from what I understand, there were some challenges with when Jack grew up, just growing up in the Depression, that he didn't get to stay in school as long as he would have liked. So I think that's where that lack of sort of vocabulary sophistication came from.
And I was asking him, to show me in the house. He said, that it wasn't his house, but I lived there. And it, so it isn't his. He also he said he's also been called Wobisino.
Okay. Probably the First Nations connection. I've been thinking about that too because Jack had the opportunity to play in the NHL and was drafted to the NHL but gave it up in order to serve in the war. So I don't know if it was a nickname or something like that they might have used as well. So I'm not sure that connection.
So the pronunciation might be a little different, but that's something.
Yeah, absolutely. It could be that psychic amnesia. I might wake up in the middle of the night and go, oh, I know exactly what that is. So.
Yeah. I asked, is there anyone else in spirit here? And he said, out on the tracks.
There's lots out on the tracks.
Out
There's lots out on the trail. Yeah.
So he showed me a trail in my vision, and he said there's native spirits there.
There's a lot of native spirits back there. Yeah. There's a number of them that kick around. We also have elementals too. We've got fairies and elves and those sorts of things that are back there a lot. And we also have an incredible, this time of year, and hopefully you guys will see it tonight, an incredible display of fireflies like nothing I've ever seen before. You feel like you're walking into a 3D movie when they come out. So some of the meditation work, I have a business I have on the side, we call it the Firefly and Sunflower, because he used to grow sunflowers and the fireflies are absolutely incredible.
So basically though why do you think this area is actually active? Like what's well known besides actually what Wanda was just explaining besides Jack?
Sure.
What else is well known?
A lot of things that are interesting about this region. So we're on Oak Hill Drive, and during the War of 1812, this was actually the main thoroughfare. So the British actually walked by the house to Brantford, which is about 4 kilometers to the east of us, where there was actually a big battle. So that's where Brant, who was a First Nations general, actually fought there. The other thing that happens there is there's absolutely First Nations trails through here. Our property has a very natural path that we know a lot of First Nations people came to do their spirit quests. They walked through there. There's a lot of arrowheads that are found in this area, that kind of thing. The other thing that's interesting, particularly about this property and this house, is our well is actually in the basement. So if any of you guys have seen the movie The Ring, my well is actually in the basement. So we have a constant moving source of water, which in sort of energy, spiritual energy, draws them and connects them to a very clean source of water. Yeah. We have a well in the backwoods, and there's natural streams that run through here. The Grand River is stone's throw from here, which is a very, heritage river for First Nations people. Tons of water runs through this property and streams run through this property. Mm-hmm. And there's something called a vortex in my back property too, where the energy's drawn to.
Right, so the water mixed with the vortex energy actually draws it like a magnet.
It's like a huge spiritual magnet, and we're convinced that the property called us. They called my husband and I to be here. Right. And so I think the combination of that and the vortex and the water and First Nations, and I mean the trees, I'm surrounded by 6 acres of Carolinian forest. Mm-hmm. So all those things combined create the perfect storm of psychic energy and apparitions and those sorts of things.
Okay, so don't want to be rude, but let's go out and check out the back actually of the trail, so that Wanda actually was talking about, and sort of what you were just talking about.
Absolutely.
So let's just head out and check it out.
Sounds perfect. Okay. So I'm picking up, like, you feel the elemental energy. It's like an earth energy that I'm getting. It's like a fairy or an elf or something, and they've been watching us the whole time that we're here. They know we're up to something.
Yeah, automatically if you come down this way. I'm also getting no Indian native spirits, because we have I was being told that there was native spirits on the track.
Absolutely. I can feel them too. Like, it's almost like they had their campfires here. It's like in that sort of section over there is where they had their campfires and stopped. Because of the natural valley here, it gave them an opportunity to sort of have shelter and that kind of thing. But they're definitely up in those hills. And earlier, remember when we saw the deer earlier come right in front of us? It's like the deer knew that we were here and were wanting to see what was up because they could feel it too.
For sure. It's, you get a tingly sensation.
Absolutely.
Standing out here.
Absolutely. We need to go back and check out that tree that I was telling you about too, because something hit that tree. A tree came down in a way that is not physically possible for it to come down. So lots of energy around those trees in the back and that sort of clearing as well.
So we're actually with Jen and Wanda. Notice that you guys were just talking. Anything picked up back here?
There's a lot of energy coming through that trail. It's many different types of energies.
Can you describe a little bit about what you did pick up?
Indian native type spirits, actually, people, young natives, from very, very, very far back. And in the past.
Okay.
There's a very ancient feel to it. There's a lot of rock and crystal underneath us that I can feel the vibrations walking back. Wanda, we were talking about too that there's streams and creeks that run all through here, and we have a well back here. And that water, you can continually feel it running under your feet and bringing that energy up.
Right.
Okay. Now, I know that you and I, Jen, we've actually talked on the phone and all that, and you said that there's strange sounds and all that, by any chance.
When I come back here at night, there's strange sounds and there's strange lights. There's clearings where it's almost like somebody's having a bonfire. And you come back to take a look and there's absolutely nothing there and there's nobody there. And my husband, who's a big strapping guy, will not come back here after dusk because he just sees things and he hears things. And there's orbs and flashes of light. And it's like people are watching you and you can hear them talking, but as soon as you come close, they stop and they scatter.
Okay. Now, before we actually did some filming though, you were talking about the shack here.
Yes.
We have nicknamed this shack Deliverance, as in the movie.
Right.
This shack was actually the gentleman who owned the property before us, just to make ends meet, just after the Depression, actually had a mink farm here on the property. So the building was actually where the minks would be killed and then be skinned and that kind of thing. So it's not a building that I go into.
Right.
I hate the energy in there. It's dark, it's sad, it's oppressive. It makes me feel like I'm choking, so I don't go in there. I actually have a padlock on the door, and my husband asked me for the key today, and I honestly can't find it. It's vanished somewhere. It's not where it should be. So
Okay, that's okay. We skip going in there then if you don't have the key.
That sounds like a good
I'll
plan.
Stay outside.
But it's a very oppressive feeling in there, and we're looking to get it torn down this summer because I just don't like the feeling of the building.
Right. And you were mentioning you were going to build something else back here, and something else happened. What
I
happened?
was telling Wanda about the tree. To replace Deliverance, because I'm a Reiki master teacher, I was going to put up a new building to do my Reiki practice and some of the mediumship work that I do. And I wanted to put it in the very backwoods at the end of the trail. And my husband, who's a complete skeptic and non-believer, said to me, don't put the building back there because a tree might fall on it. And I said, no way. We've cleared all the trees. There's nothing dead back there. The next day I go back there, exactly where my building was to go and where he said a tree might fall, a beautiful live tree fell. And Megan and Wanda were back there and looked at the tree, and it shouldn't have fallen the way it did. It's not physically possible on the earth plane for the tree to fall the way it did.
The way that broke off its stump is not natural either. It kind of looks like something just crushed it.
It's like something hit it from above.
Something brought it down from above.
Now, Wanda, you were saying earlier about something though that you were starting to see back there.
I was picking up energy from, like, I feel extraterrestrial energies as well.
Right.
And mainly back where that tree was the energy of extraterrestrial. I could just imagine the UFO coming through that opening in the woods.
Yeah, because it's very open in the valley back there. We'll head back there in a few minutes to show you what it's like back there. But the valley is, there's both sides, there's a ridge on both sides, and it comes right down into the valley, so you've got the open sky above.
Well, actually, why don't we just head back there?
Yeah.
Sounds like a good plan. We can
All
show
right.
you all that on the way back.
All right, so let's just head back.
As you go back to your field, just the full way back.
So while we were walking back here, Jen, you were just indicating though that you were picking up some stuff also.
Oh, there's a ton of stuff. I was just saying to Wanda, we walked past that section and it got ice cold, which is always a sign of spirit, and it just got cold again. Just as I said that,
Yeah.
I am
Ice cold.
frozen, and I was
I'm
just saying to
actually-
you guys, I was
I'm
about
feeling
to
it
strip
also.
off my sweater because I was
as we were
so hot,
walking
and
up, I
now
did
it's
feel that.
completely ice cold.
Well, like, honest God truth, I've got goosebumps. My hair's standing right up on end.
So was mine.
As soon as we stand here, and there's native guides here, and they desperately want to, either through Mark or through Wanda or myself, channel. They're starting to take my voice, which I'm not going to let them do. So there's definitely a ton of energy right here, and they're definitely trying to draw right from my throat and from my chest areas where I was saying to Trevor that I was really feeling it.
Yeah, you felt the energy coming through your chest chakra.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I was saying too that I just have this urge to take my shoes off and just run through the woods. And Wanda and I were talking about that we can smell them.
Yeah,
There's a
sweat,
scent. There's
like
sweat and grease, like a grease painty sweat
Musky.
smell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, this area here, like, have you done some archiving actually to do with this area?
We have done a lot of work in here. This was actually sort of an area where First Nations, it was a natural path. And before the highway that went through here, Oak Hill was also a path. So this was the path even during the War of 1812. That's what they're upset with us about, because they think we're them. We have to tell them that we're not part of that. So during the War of 1812, Brant crossed the ford at the river, they actually marched right down the road in front of this house, and the First Nations people would be in these woods trying to sort of do that. So we're trying to sort of defend themselves from that. So that's that sort of anxiety and that tension that we've been picking up on is that feeling.
Right. And Wanda, earlier while we were in the vehicle, you were sort of talking about a trail.
A trail that I picked up in the meditation. A man in the meditation showed me a trail, a picture of a trail, and but he called it the track. It was the tracks, not the trail. And as soon as we walked up to the front, from behind the house, I saw this, and that's the picture. And this is what he meant. And he said there was Indian spirits, natives, in this track.
Did you guys just hear that behind us?
Yeah.
Real quick. And just before we started filming, actually, right now, we heard 3 knocks from over that direction, and it was almost like a hello knock, like knock, 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 hello.
And you'll also see too, and it hasn't happened in weeks, there's these little odd pieces of fluff
Yeah, I've
that
noticed that
started
since we
floating
started
around,
walking
that if you
back
start
here.
trying to grab them, they float away. So it's almost like some sort of elemental.
Yeah.
I was also saying to you guys too that we find really interesting marks on the trees back here.
Right, you
Yeah.
showed us
We've had-
some white marks on the trees.
We've had forestry people back here, we've had nature people back here. No one can figure out where it is, and it's only kind of in this bowl section where it happens, and nobody knows what it is, and they just appeared. It's usually 3 lines
Right.
of white marks on the tree.
Now, white marks is almost native as well, right? That would be
Absolutely.
native marking for tracking, which may be why Wanda picked up on the tracking.
Yeah, but we'll have to check into that and
Right.
see if that could be the case.
The energy is incredibly strong back here tonight, though.
It is. I hope we get some good stuff for
We
investigation
absolutely will
later
get some
on
stuff
tonight,
later. You're going to hear some knocking, and I'm quite convinced that we're going to
which
hear
we did already here.
some rocks hitting the roof, and yeah.
Yeah, really active area back here. We're here in one of your bedrooms now with homeowner Jen. Thank you for coming with us here tonight. And can you tell us a little bit about what happened in this room here?
So this is the room where the previous owner who lived here, his wife one night said she wasn't feeling well, and she got up to come in here.
Right.
She got to sort of the threshold of the doorway,
Right where we're standing.
right where we're standing, and he heard a noise, and he came in, and she'd fallen down, and she died in his arms.
Okay, was it an instant, or was she like...
Within half an hour kind of thing. So
Yeah.
within, from beginning to end, within half an
Right.
hour she had passed. So
Right,
completely
okay.
suddenly, no warning, nothing, no illnesses they knew about, just
Did something
one of
happen
those
that
things.
night?
So
And
yeah,
that was
they
it?
assume it was an aneurysm. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah,
And,
unfortunately,
now
for
you're
sure.
at the home. So what kind of things have you experienced in this location?
In this particular room,
Yes.
sometimes I'll be lying in bed and I feel like someone's tucking me in.
Okay.
Other times I'll look over and it feels like there's someone sitting in the chair watching me or sort of
Sure,
being
here.
with me and that kind of stuff.
I was in here earlier just while we were setting up, and on the bed here we're just having our tools out, and I felt fine. Like, I felt very comfortable to me. So I don't know if it hadn't found me yet.
Yeah, or it just maybe depend on your
Nice,
energy
or-
too. I mean, you sort of got a nice, soft, gentle energy, so maybe
Okay,
it's
maybe
that
she
versus some of my
appreciates that.
other male friends that are a little more
Stronger energy.
stronger energy or
Right.
that kind of thing.
So we're going to actually do a little EVP session, see if we can communicate with your former owners of the home here that used to live here, who unfortunately passed in this room. And we have a couple tools, like I mentioned, the spirit box, and over on the table we actually have one also we had on the show before called the HDO, Haunted Trailer Object, and right now we just have it hooked up to a kitchen fork right now that we just have as a test object. So we'll see if anything happens and moves with that. We'll try to get spirits to move. Another interesting point to note, Jen, is you have an interesting artifact in here as well that may have some energy attached. You want to describe it a bit?
I do. So many of you probably know that the Titanic touring exhibit came to Kitchener-Waterloo a few years ago.
Yes.
And while we were there, I actually was really drawn to pick up this piece of coal. It was actually one of the few things they've raised from the Titanic that they can actually legally sell. And ever since I've moved that in here, I found that sometimes the energy can get a little bit strange or things move around and that kind of stuff. So
If you move it to another room in the house, does
the energy goes with it.
activity
Yeah.
goes with it?
Yeah.
Okay,
So it's very much attached to the
it
object
could
rather
be
than the
attached,
house.
yes.
Absolutely.
As we talked about haunted objects as well in a different episode. So
Absolutely.
okay, well, let's start our session here. I'll just turn it on. Are there any spirits here that want to communicate with us that may know Jen or that have been in this house before that want to say anything? I have a device here that you can communicate through and say anything that you'd like to say to us tonight.
Are you happy with the renovations we did to your house? I know that we've done a whole lot of new things to your house, but we're hoping that you're happy with what we've done and respected what you built and the wonderful place that you had here.
It does take a few seconds for them to actually reply, so.
Are you the one that sometimes tucks me in at night?
No, that was a reply. Thank you very much for replying.
Is it one of my relatives then that tucks me in at night? Is it my grandmother that's passed?
I heard twice.
Yeah.
So maybe your grandmother has done it in the past, twice. But not all the time.
Are you the one that shuts the cupboard doors in the kitchen sometimes? Is it you in the night that opens and closes the cupboard doors?
I thought I heard cupboard. Does somebody open the cupboard doors in the kitchen at night? Me.
Maybe.
No, I heard me.
Oh, me.
Me, a male said me. So would that be the former owner, Jack?
Jack.
Okay, Jack, was that you that was opening and closing the cupboards on Jen at her house? Me. Yeah.
Jack, I also hear your dogs sometimes. Do you come back with your dogs?
I did.
I did, yeah. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Seance at the White House.
We're
so
here.
we are going to take some time this afternoon just to learn a little bit about seances, talk a little bit about what they are and what they can do, and then we'll see what kind of energy we can get from them. So seances have been going on forever, since the beginning of time in various forms, that kind of thing. They got very, very popular in the 1800s during the Victorian times. It was sort of a way of entertaining people and a way of communicating with those that have passed over. So a seance literally is just an opportunity for people to come sit together, combine our energies, and give us an opportunity to contact spirit. So what we'll do is we'll do a bit of I'll do an opening prayer. And in the opening prayer, we'll say, my name is, and when you get to that, if each of you can say your name, just to let spirit know that you're here and that you're ready to communicate with them. We'll do that opening prayer. We've already all been smudged, which is great. So it's an opportunity for everybody to be cleansed. And then we're going to see what's happening. We have a couple things on the table that I think are might give us some interesting energy as well. Spirit is very used to writing with slate. So this is an old-fashioned little tiny chalkboard that we'll leave the chalk on. You may hear during the seance, you may hear scratching, or you may see when we turn the lights back on or tapping that'll be there. I've also got 2 round balls that will ask the spirit to push on or to move. So we'll see them roll. If they roll or start to hit the floor, don't worry about it. That's what's meant to be. That's what's meant to be. It's, you know, that could happen. You also will see that I've got the table completely covered. And before this, during the filming, we showed everybody that there's nothing under there. It's just a table. It's covered. Spirit likes to come into enclosed places. So by putting the tablecloth over the table, it gives them sort of a dark enclosed space. So you might hear tapping underneath there. You might feel things. You're going to probably feel cold first, so that's spirit materializing. And what I like to do in my seances is when the lights are off, we'll share what we're feeling. So I'll say, I'm Jennifer, and I felt spirit, you know, something touched my face. Thank you, spirit. Because that way we're acknowledging that we're feeling it and that we want to continue them to do it. And you just sort of have to have faith and believe and just open up and let happen what happens and sort of put aside any prejudgments, and we'll go from there. So my name is Jennifer.
Actually, put that hand over.
My name is Trevor.
My name is Megan.
My name is Mark.
My name is Regina.
And I call forth all of our spirit guides, known and unknown to us. I ask for only the best and the highest, loved ones and friends in the spirit world. Please come forward. Doorkeeper and spirit guides, during the next hour I permit you to use our energies for the purpose of mental and physical phenomena. Thank you and amen.
Amen.
This is Trevor speaking. Can you tell Jen, who keeps turning off my recorder?
Oh, I just
That's
heard a
twice
laugh.
now.
Someone just laughed.
Back
So
on.
that's exactly what spirit likes to do. You'll notice that they like to turn things off. So that recorder is now on, but it is turned off twice.
This is the second I've turned that recorder back on, so we'll leave it again.
This is
Jennifer and spirits right behind me. I can feel them.
I feel it rocking back and forth between you and me, Jen.
Yeah, I do too. Come on, spirit, you can lift this up. Thank you for making the candle flicker, but do something else for us. Make a knock. Don't be shy now. Just Jennifer, and it just got really dark in here. This is Jennifer, and I can feel the table starting to try and levitate.
This is Regina, and I can feel the tingling in my fingers.
Look, it's trying to lift up down here.
Thank you, Spirit.
Regina, make sure you stay with us. Don't let them overtake you. Spirit, this is Jennifer, and you can feel free to use Mark or myself. This is new for Regina, so just be gentle with her. As the candle goes completely wild.
My name is Megan, and I can feel something touch my side of my head very softly. Thank you, Spirit.
Jennifer, and I can absolutely feel the table starting to rotate in a clockwise position. This is Jennifer, and I can feel the table absolutely starting to bounce. Thank you, Spirit.
This is Megan, and I can feel the room temperature just drop. Thank you, Spirit.
I've got a vision that Jack is actually working quite hard.
Thank you, Jack.
He's working with wood.
Yeah. Jack built this house. Spirit, we're going to take our hands off the table. We're going to hold hands to share the energy. And we're going to ask you to move one of the balls or use one of the lights and focus on that. My goodness, Virginia, you're freezing cold. Thank you, Spirit.
There's a woman that's actually here. Now the woman, though, is actually making bread. It's an old wooden stove.
I heard a noise over by Megan. Thank you, Spirit.
I don't know who it is, but somebody's putting pressure actually on my back.
Bouncing back and forth between the two of us.
Trevor, I feel so tired.
Feel tired?
Yes.
Don't drain Trevor's energy, Spirit. You can use Mark and Jennifer.
We ask you to use Giant's wine.
Yeah, don't bother Trevor or Regina or Megan. They're new with this and they're learning, but not yet. Back away from Trevor and go to Mark or go to Jen.
Something dark actually hanging over top of Trevor.
I can feel that too. It's the energy from Stratford.
Spirit that's hanging over top of Trevor. You must leave him. As I say that, though, I get complete cold chill.
This is Megan, and I can feel you touching my leg. Thank you, Spirit.
Walk around us. I can feel you down there.
Is that you?
No. Thank you, Spirit.
Thanks.
Can you do that again for us, Spirit? Can you make the table move again? Can you lift the table up? Make the table lift up at Mark's end. Lift the table up that way and have everything roll towards me. Come on, I can see that you're doing it. Thank you so much, Spirit.
This is Regina, and I just saw the chalk move.
Thank you, Spirit.
Thank you, Spirit.
I can see that it moved too, because it was down further before. Can you hear that under the table? That chalk is rolling.
I just saw that, yeah.
The chalk is absolutely rolling. Thank you, Spirit.
Thank you, Spirit.
So we're going to take our hands and we're going to put it back on the table to help bring that energy to the table. So we can unlink hands and put it there. Use our energy now to move that chalk. To move that chalk, or to give the message to Trevor.
I felt that.
This is Regina, and I saw the chalk move like major.
This is Trevor, and I just felt a major shift in the
Thank you,
table.
Spirit.
This is Jennifer. The energy just shifted.
I'm personally seeing that corner more down towards Trevor. Like it's a heavy weight down towards Trevor.
This is Jennifer. I'm starting to see shadows over the chalk. And this chalk's starting to blur in and out like someone's here. And I just got absolutely stone cold.
I got like a
Nauseous.
major cold actually on my left.
My whole body's frozen. My legs are absolutely frozen. I've got goosebumps. Thank you, Spirit. Coming through with a message of strength for Trevor. The word
I was just gonna say,
strength.
I'm just gonna say, I hear him saying, I'm here.
Oh my goodness, that table just bounced. Thank you, Spirit. Wow. He is incredibly strong and he's coming through. The table's levitating. Do you guys feel that?
Mm-hmm.
This is Jennifer, and I can feel something under the tablecloth running up down the palms of my hands. Thank you, Spirit.
Well, there I just
I
felt
felt
that.
a shift there.
This is Jennifer, and I can feel the table rocking back and forth. Thank you, Spirit. Do you guys feel that? Does it feel like the table's pulsating?
Yes, I do.
Just like a heartbeat.
Can you tip the table towards Trevor? Oh my gosh, the table is tripping towards Trevor. Do you guys all feel that?
I feel that.
Thank you, Spirit. This is Jennifer, and there's something rattling under the table. Thank you, Spirit.
I should hear noise actually outside the room.
Yeah, this is Trevor. I thought I just heard something. They're walking or shuffling in the other room.
This is Jennifer, and I feel incredibly heavy. Thank you, Spirit, which means that he has something to say. He keeps giving me the words strength. He's got a tomahawk in his hand with one feather that comes down the blade of it.
But this is Trevor. Jen, is the top of the chalk above now when it used to be below?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm new at this.
No, you're doing really good.
Regina, and the chalk is
It's not resting on top of the edge.
No.
moving like a lot, like a quarter of an inch, moving.
This is Jennifer is moving again.
moving.
Yeah.
Thank you, Spirit.
Thank you, Spirit. If you want to write something that you need to tell us, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. You're doing
It's okay.
you're doing fabulous. You're doing really, really well. This is Jennifer, and the table is shifting big time. I can feel the tablecloth pulling towards me. Thank you, Spirit. This is Jennifer, and the room's shifting. I feel like I'm leaving the room, which is fine. I'm good with that. I'm standing there. I'm a Plains Indian, and I'm watching you guys. You're both incredible warriors. The message for you in this life is that it's Jennifer, and I can see that Trevor's hands are... Did you lift your hands off the table?
Nope.
I can see that Trevor's hands are lifting off the table.
This is Regina, and the tip of the chalk keeps turning black. Thank you, Spirit.
Thank you, Spirit. Can you let Jen know what century you were in?
Something in the 1700s.
1700s is exactly what I was going to say. Late 1700s, 1798. Is that that's the time I'm getting right? That's right. That's why the table's suddenly moving so quickly.
Yes.
1798. Oh, I can't understand the language. Just use my voice box and tell me what the words are.
Thank you, Spirit. Can I ask what location?
Did you guys just hear the crow outside?
I did. I heard it loud. I just did.
Thank you, Spirit. Oh,
I thought it was squeaking here or
there's a
something.
crow outside.
Throw.
It's a crow or a raven, same thing.
Oh, that's him. Oh, I just got chills through my body. Thank you, Spirit.
This is Jennifer, and like I'm completely shaking like a leaf. Is that the table or is it me? Or is
The
it
table, table's still shaking.
Oh man.
I'm gonna try to concentrate with Jenna's back in time. Jenna, I'm gonna help try to bring you into the future. Grab hold of my hand.
I like it here. It's nice here.
Yeah, but we need you in the future. Try to grab my hand. You have it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull you really hard. Trick you out.
Thank you for communicating, but come back with us.
Okay. Alright, there we go. Close.
Okay, just if you can put. Yeah, hold on 1 second. Maybe just a candle. I usually can do it by memory, but not right now. So.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay, that's pretty.
Okay, so my name is Jennifer.
My name is Mark.
My name is Trevor.
My name is Megan.
My name is Regina.
My name is Jennifer. Thank you, guides, spirits, guardians, and whoever's rattling around over there. Thank you so much for bringing compassion and love
that too.
and letting us speak to you today. We thank our spirit guides. We ask you to come back another time, but at this point it's time for you to go. It's time for you to move on, and we'll call you back when we want you to come next. I call the circle closed, and I thank you for all you've done today, and we will talk to you again. But at this time, it's time for you to go back and time for us to stay here. Amen. Oh my God.
And the shot was up on top of here. I swear it was.
It was.
I have a shot of it on top, and then I have a shot of it no longer on top.
Yeah, and then there's a piece of it missing.
Is there anything on it?
Yeah, there's a line right there. You were supposed to mark it, and it did
Yeah,
right there.
I told Mark that last night that I wasn't going to channel, but sometimes spirit works in mysterious
So
ways,
true.
and it happens. Oh, of course.
So true. It's like a. And Regina, you did really, really good actually for your, basically your first time for a professional seance.
Thank you. It was quite the experience, especially sitting next to Jen, because I could feel her energy and her, I'm sure, a teeny minuscule of what she felt.
Yes.
Binging to me once in a while.
So basically, those what we just started with, though, is actually called a RAM pod, which is rapid motion detector pod. And what it does is it does actually light off, and there's some that do actually have a siren directly. Now, Jen, I know that last week that we did talk about the original owner actually of the location. Now I know that there is some archives so that we actually have come across.
There is. When we were renovating down here and pulling stuff out, there was actually, it was odd. Things were kind of back in the walls, so I'm not sure what that was all about. But the previous owner of the house actually used to have a farm here, so all of this is really interesting because it has every year how he did and how much he paid for food, for his animals, and all that kind of stuff, which is really cool. And we also found a letter. The previous owner also was very, very sports-minded and actually been called up to the NHL, but during the war chose not to so that he could stay here and help with on the home front. So he chose not to go up to the NHL. So that was really interesting to find. And then we also found a lot of his papers with various stories about things that he'd done and things like